So, hello there people, my name is Brugman, I'm from the Netherlands, and today we'll create a scene in Maya and then export that to Unity so we can walk around in it in real time. And I'll show you some nifty tricks both in Maya and in Unity, and I hope you have a learnful lesson. So please enjoy. Start up by opening up Maya and set a project in my tutorial folder. Just use the defaults and accept. Oh, anyway, it's already been set. So we'll start making a room. Just very simple, I just want to show you the basic workflow from Maya to Unity, which doesn't have to be difficult, but alright. So we got our basic box, and then just manipulate some vertexes. So we can create something of a room. I'll create separate rooms. So that I can later place audio in it and add some cool reverb stuff to it. So we'll just create some meshes. Oops. Well, something like this would be cool. So we've got our little boxed scene like this. Well, we can of course create windows and stuff in it. I'll create one just to show you the basic idea of how to create a window in a polymesh. I usually just use the cut faces tool and cut some polys where I need them. And you can also use the split polygon tool. You don't especially need to end up with 4 polygons, since Unity will divide it in triangles anyway. Something like that. That's a window, I'd say. And what you can then do is extrude the whole polymesh like that. And you'll see a nice little window pop out. And the inside is of course the interior of our later scene in Unity. Okay, so now we have our basic scene. Of course we need some textures. This is just really basic, but if you pay some attention to all the doorposts and windows and stuff like that, you can create really neat scenes. So what I want to do to start out with is separate the walls from the ceilings. like that. Alright, and now we'll just extract this so it's a different mesh. If we hide that, we're left with only the ceiling and the floors. I'll turn off the grid for a second. Then what I'll want to do is I want to extract the ceiling from the floors. I'll rather do that in side view, like that, and we'll just hit the extract again. And now, it doesn't really matter. We'll just do it like this, and then combine them again. And they're already combined. And you see the window sills here. Of course we want to add that to the walls. So we'll extract that as well. Like that. And let's unhide the walls again and combine the window sills and the wall. Like that. Now it's everything one mesh again. I might want to merge the wall, since those window sills were separated. Alright. So now we have our nice little scene, and let's just start by texturing the walls. Let's just start off with the sides and deselect everything we don't want to map this time. Oh wait, we'll just map everything along the x-axis. No, that's the wrong axis. Like that. And now select everything we want to map on the z-axis. So basically deselect everything on the x-axis. And of course on the inside as well. Come on, speed up a little. I might want to change the point of interest of the camera, since I'm way out of proportion here, or just resize the entire structure. No, we'll do that later. Center of interest. That can be increased. So now we can move around a hell of a lot easier. It's basically your pivot point and basic skill of the scene. So that works a little better. Alright, so let's just continue again. No, I wanted to select everything and then deselect the sides. Still might want to increase the point of interest, but for now it's alright. Alright, so everything is now nicely deselected. So we'll want to project on the Z-axis again with a planar mapping. And then we'll bring up the UV texture editor. I'm sorry if the screen capture is a little slow, but shoot. Like that. That is our side view of the structure. I don't know the proportions yet, but we'll figure it out when we start to texture it. And then let's project the floor with a Y projection. Like that. And the same goes for the ceiling. Like that. Let's just save the scene for a while. Low poly room. Low poly room for Unity. Alright, then let's start searching some textures. Now I want to look for pictures. I might not want to use DeviantArt stuff now. This perhaps is a better idea. I hope it's a progressive JPEG, cause the quality really sucks right now. And I don't think that's the case, so let's just get another one. You can of course also make it tileable your own, but I don't think my computer will be happy about that at the moment, so it doesn't need to be really high res, since it's gonna be used in a game engine. And it's just for learning. This one is tileable. Alright, this looks usable. Just save it at my desktop textures. freaking banner on it. Oh, drives me mad. You're better off making your own textures. Just so you know. And my computer is so darn slow. It's not fun to look for any textures. But we'll find something like this, for example. Alright, so now we have two textures. Let's just start with the ceiling and go to the hypershade. If it'll ever pop up. Come on. Next time I'll definitely capture in a lower res again. So sorry about that, but let's just create this material, this ceiling and floor material. We'll add the files we just found. And let's assign those. Oh crap. You can push your middle mouse and then drag it to the checkerboard of the color, and then it's connected. And what you'll see then, when I press the 6 button or the shaded texture view, is you'll see the material being mapped on there. Like that. So of course it's way out of proportion, and what you can do is you can change the tiling properties in the material itself, but it's better to actually map to UV coordinates correct, so that once in Unity you don't have to play around with the tiling. So then when you just add the texture and the tiling is 1:1, it'll be mapped correctly. So it's now using both UV coordinates. That's fine. They're mapped almost identical, so I can map them identical. Why wouldn't I do that? Along the y-axis, right? Yes. Like that. And we'll open the hypershade or the UV texture editor again, and we'll see them being mapped nicely identical. So you want to stretch the UV as big as possible so you get a nice tiling, or you can just use a higher texture map and make sure it's already tiled and up to your liking, so you don't have to stretch the UV out as much, but this will do for now. It's rather dull right now, but we'll add some more lightning and stuff later in Unity. Okay, so now let's do the same thing for the walls. I'll just copy it. Uh, like that. The pasted ceiling and floor will now become walls. And let's reassign the brick seamless to it. Like that, and now it's way stretched. Something which isn't cool, so let's fix that. Luckily, we have our separated X and Y projections in the UV editor, and as you can see, when I move one, only the X-axis moves. So that's pretty cool. Now we want to lay them out on top of each other, and then probably stretch them way out. And of course you can go nuts in Photoshop, but I don't like to do that in a tutorial. It's rather dull, and most of you know how to do it already, so perhaps something for later. If you really want to do it correctly, you'd lay them side by side. Like that. Align them nicely. Like that. And now you see we have a nice map room, which is basically finished for export to Unity. Of course you can fix all this, but where's the window at? There's the window. Of course you can fix all these areas by just selecting them and assign a different projection to it, like in the Z-axis. But then of course you have to scale it and properly arrange it to work. And it's rotated. No, it's not rotated. Something like that. You can of course also do it for the other side, but for now I'll just say, what the heck, let's get on to the exporting of Unity. So what I'll do now is I want to select everything, hide those, and those, we won't be needing that, and then just combine the whole mesh so it's one solid mesh again. can of course also neatly merge it. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong button. You can of course also merge the vertexes so it's really one piece. And then you want to delete every history of everything. Well, just delete all the history, that's basically it. And then let's save the scene, and what we'll do now is export selection as an Maya binary. Oh crap, I haven't installed my... Alright, where? You might want to have to load the FBX export from Maya. That's what's missing at the moment. Okay, so they are loaded, and then let's export them as an FBX object. Now here comes the tricky part, at least a minor tricky part. The scale is quite buggy between Maya and Unity. You have to model at a millimeter scale basically, and then tell the FBX F-port to scale that up by 100 for it to work in the scale units of Unity. And it can be quite annoying when working on big scenes. Well, it's something that has to be right when working on big scenes, and can really be annoying when it isn't. So I'll just show you how to change that. Go to the Maya preferences under settings, and then for scale choose millimeter and change film to PAL 25, but that doesn't really matter since we won't be animating. Alright, so that has been set. Now we'll go to export again. And name it Room for Unity. As an FBX object. And you might want to include the textures, advanced options, units, scale factor 10. Well, I'm bummed out that that isn't working right now. I don't have a clue why. Normally you can set what scale it is and then tell Unity to scale it up by 100 or 1, or just leave it as it is. And if you do it correctly, the scale of your room matches the scale of your first person mover or camera script, so everything has the right size and stuff like that. Oh, here. Right, this is millimeters, and then we'll open up Unity and we'll just have a look at what the scale setting says there. Um, well, let's first just export this to Unity low poly room, export selection. Well, it's now exporting. And what we can do now is navigate to the scene in your computer. I'm just navigating in my computer on the other screen, and I'll just drag it in. As you can see, low poly room, FBX. We'll drag that into Unity. And you can see it's already getting the JPEGs. This will take a while. Like that, it's now imported. And as you can see, the textures are already there. You can of course also make it bump textures. Bump diffuse, bump specular. You have a whole array of materials you can choose. These basically work like materials from Maya. You have blend and specular and all that sort of things. So okay, what we'll do now is just drag this in to Unity. You can see it's already being nicely triangulated. And this is just a really simple example of how it works. I'll create some lights in the scene. Let's create a point light. It's not all the way over here. Let's just get that in the room. And as you can see, it's lighting up the scene nicely. And of course you have limits on your lighting and stuff. So you might want to take it easy on that. And especially now with the video capture, it's going insane. It's running Maya in the background, and then also I had a video stream, and now real-time game graphics. But anyway, we'll still have to create a collision object for the camera, so you won't go through the walls and the floors. So what you want to do is create a mesh collider under physics in the component section, and then we'll add it to the prefab. Well, it's basically saying that if you add this, the prefab is different, but it doesn't matter for now since we'll be using it only once. And then what we'll do is go to the standard assets and then character controller, add a first person controller, or with other words, well, a basic script that tells the camera how to navigate inside the scene. So there's our first person controller, and let's just scale it down by half its size. And what we can do now already is walk around in the scene just by pressing play. Oh, I have a compiling error. a compiler error. Huh? Yeah, screw you, I don't want to use you right now, RPG kit. What is it babbling about? RPG kit, let's just delete this. Yes. Okay, let's see if it works now. And it's having a hard time. Well, yeah, awesome, there we go. As you can see, the scale is just a little off. The room needed to be a bit higher, but just press escape and then you'll stop. No, the play button again, sorry. Haven't used Unity for a while. And I'll just close Chrome again. And perhaps my Maya window as well. I did save the scene, so alright, the player was way too big, so let's make it 1.2 by 1.2 by 1.2. And let's just try it again. And you can of course also rearrange your workspace so that you have a bit more Maya like feeling. And as you can see, I can't walk through the walls. The far clipping plane from the camera are still a little off, since you can look through the walls. You can change that as well by going through your hierarchy in your. This tells you what all is inside the game. You can of course also change your field of view, and let's just make it 4 split. It works a little better for me. One should pop the game mode now, yes. That's right. Okay, alright, over there. So let's tweak the camera a little. The main camera. Field of view maybe bigger, like a little fisheye stuff. Like you're having a weird dream or something. And I'll just exit Maya. Oh crap, it just launched a totally new Maya. I don't know why it did that, but I'll save the scene and quit it so I can work in Unity a bit better. So let's create a bit more of an ambience here. Put that all the way over there. Pressing the F button focuses on the object in the current viewport selected. And Ctrl C, Ctrl V just copies. Oh crap. They all have zero intensity, so alright, what I want to do now is add some audio to the whole scene. And as you can see, there's already a message here. There are 2 audio listeners in the scene. And that's probably because this one has an audio listener. And the main camera also has an audio listener. So let's just remove this audio listener, remove component. And what we can do now is add some music to the scene. And I'll just use a song of my own. I'll just drag it in. Doesn't really matter. It says it's a 69 kilohertz file, but it's a 44.1. This is a track I made recently. Well, not too recently. December last year, but like that, I want to drag it in there. And I want to make it a 3D sound, so it actually responds to the movement we make inside the scene, and the sounds is basically influenced by the location we're at. And you can also preview it. I'm just wondering. Where my perspective cam is. Alright, it's that one. Like that. And now we can tweak that sound. At least we can already preview it. As you can see, it already has a fall off, but it's way too big, so we have to reconfigure it. And what you can see is the max distance right over here. You might want to change that to, for example, 50, so it's 10 times as small. Still doesn't have much effect. So let's just change it to 10. Oh right, you know why there isn't any change in the stuff we do? Because we're listening to the audio listener of this one, and this one is just very stationary. And what we'll do is just add a 30 roll off. No, let's say a 10. And let's say minimum is 1. Let's create all this nonsense. Well, I'll just add it again. So we have a default. I'm sorry for that. There we go. And let's just change that to 30, for example. So that's still a bit high. I'll just want to use a linear roll off to about 6, I guess. So that's already coming along nicely. And as you can see, this red bar over here indicates the amount of distance we are away from it. So for example, if we'll move our first person controller all the way over here, we'll then see the listener being 10 units away. And you could hear a Doppler effect in it as well. Of course it doesn't work very nice on music, so I'll just turn it back a little. And let's just fix the far clipping, or the near clipping. Let's just put that to 0, like that. Now it's fixed. If we'll preview, now you can also add a reverb sound to it. Create a game object and then an audio reverb sound. And let's just say only in the middle, in this middle room, I want to have like a cathedral-like sound. That's possible by just using a basic preset. And of course it isn't as good as the best VSTs and stuff like that, but it gives a nice depth to it in creating interactive environments, I think. It's really cool, and you might want to change the values of it, because it's way too big now. let's just say the core is 3 units and the base is 5 for the max distance. And then we'll add something of a church-like, or a hallway, that's fine too. Let's just see if it changes a little, and I want to change the Doppler all the way off since it doesn't improve the sound of the song. You can hear the stereo is a lot less. So that's pretty cool. Let's just play it in widescreen and let's just make it a kind of hazy, surrealistic kind of scene. By just adding some glow to the scene or something. Glow intensity, we might want to change that a little. And as you can see, the scene gets already this high-tech game look. Well, high-tech. The textures are still very Counter-Strike, but I just find it amazing to finally be able to use my 3D scenes interactively. And of course this costs a lot of computer power at the moment with the video capture, but when you're dedicated to only using Unity and no video capture and no music and stuff like that, you can create very awesome scenes, and then afterwards being able to select your detail level when you go and play it. You can in the end compile this to an .exe and so let's just have a look at how the scene plays now. So that was my tutorial for today. I hope you had a learnful lesson, and I hope I opened a new world for you 3D artists. It's a discovery I recently made and I was very happy with it. Well, it just gives me a whole lot of new options. And Unity has a big community. I think it's better than the UDK engine, and I'm really not that much of a game dude, but it just gives you possibilities, and possibilities is something which I like very much in my creativity. So thanks for watching. Until next time, good evening.